Okay, so we should be recording now, I think. So at any time, if you have questions, you can either type them in the chat box, you can ask them out loud. Good morning, Colton, I see you there. I love your background. Okay, I'm trying to admit people at the same time. You're not a co-host, are you, Christina? If I make you a co-host, then can you like admit people?
I can try. I'll watch the group.
Okay. So yeah, if you can watch for admitting people as they come in, great. Okay, so to get started, I am Suzanne LaVenture, and I'm the Director of International Education at Davidson-Davie Community College. Did you see Kate come in? Do you see that? Okay, you got it. Great, good. And I've worked at the college, as I said earlier, since 1994, and I've been Director of International Education since 2010. So by being at this college, you have many, many unique opportunities that you would not have at other community colleges and maybe even at some universities. So today I want to tell you about some of those. I really want to encourage you to participate. We have some students and faculty members here who are going to speak to that themselves. I know it means more if it comes from a fellow student than from someone like me. So I'm glad they're here to tell you about that. Thank you, Colton. So let's start with our Global Scholars Program. Our Scholars of Global Distinction program was created in 2013. We are the first community college in North Carolina to have this program. There are now 27 colleges in North Carolina that have this program based largely on our model. And the mission of the Global Scholars Program, as you can see here on the screen, is to develop engaged global citizens who are prepared to be successful in our increasingly interdependent world. So any student can join this program. You don't have to have a certain GPA, you don't have to be in a certain program, but if you complete all the requirements, you will earn the global distinction on your transcript. So when you transfer to a university or when you apply for a job, you'll have this thing that sets you apart for the rest of your life. When you graduate, you'll get to wear this special regalia you see here, the beautiful white stole with a book and a globe. And it's really just a fun and great program. So Colton, you are a global scholar. Do you have something you would like to say about being in the program?
It's a really good program. Not only do you get to connect and interact with students from the school that you go to, but also other schools from around the country. You get to learn about their culture and the way they do things business-wise that differ from the way we do things.
And I'm going to ask you, I guess I'll wait till we get to our slide about the virtual exchange to talk specifically about that. But so you do recommend being a global scholar?
Yes.
So the basic requirements to earn the distinction are to take 15 hours of globalized courses, and most of you will get that without really trying to get that. To attend 8 passport events, and this is one of those passport events, so you just have 7 more, and to have a global experience. So there are a variety of ways to do that. You can study abroad on one of our short-term study abroad programs. But if you can't travel internationally, there are a variety of other options. So you do not have to travel internationally to become a global scholar. So I'm going to go through these slides, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you, go to the website and show you how you can find all this information on the website for yourself. So just to mention briefly that the Global Scholars Program is affiliated with the North Carolina Global Distinction Initiative, which is put on by Worldview at UNC Chapel Hill. So this program has a lot of gravitas because it's affiliated with Chapel Hill. And if you're thinking about transferring there, this will definitely, help increase your chances. Yesterday, David Soltani came by the office. He was a global scholar last year and president of our international club, and he's at Chapel Hill this year. So he's doing everything online at the moment, but he enjoyed being a global scholar as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, one of the criterion for being a global scholar is to attend 8 passport events, and you are at one now. This is just a series of events we used to put on in person, and now we're doing everything via Zoom, so it's super easy to just click the link. On our website, again, at the end, I'll show you where you can find this information and you can see all the events. And also Christina posts all the events on our social media pages. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can find us at Davidson-Davie International. She also posts lots of fun pictures. So it's a good way to get involved and feel like you know other people. One way you can complete your global experience for global scholars, and again, you don't have to be a global scholar to participate in this, is through the Global Solutions Sustainability Challenge. This is a 10-week virtual exchange with the university in Jordan or Iraq. We did this last semester and Colton was there and he participated in this and I facilitated this session. And you just work together with a team in another country to create a sustainable business model for a product. So for our cohort, the theme was arts and entertainment. For this coming cohort, the theme is technology. And this time it's going to be led by Dr. LaKoya Johnson, who is here with us now. So Dr. Johnson, if you want to speak to this for a minute and try to encourage students to participate.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you all. I'm so happy to meet you all this morning. My name is LaKoya Johnson. As Suzanne said, I am new to the campus, but so excited to be here. I am an adjunct faculty member with the pharmacy technology program. I am a registered and trained pharmacist, have been working as a pharmacist for the past 11 years. And have recently transitioned into education and I'm loving the classroom. However, I'm really excited about this program because I had the opportunity to study abroad myself when I was in college. And when I found out that you have this amazing program, I was just so impressed because I just didn't know that such a program would exist on a community college campus. And so I will tell you, to be able to have this type of opportunity is absolutely amazing. It really is. When I went to college, I wasn't thinking about study abroad. I didn't even know that it was an option for me, but I just looked up and went to a session sort of like this and found out about the opportunity to study abroad, got a scholarship to do so, and it completely changed my life. It changed my life in the way of my mindset, in thinking about other cultures. I studied abroad in South Africa, just so you know. So I'm really excited about this semester and all the things that we'll be learning and doing with South Africa. But I stayed there for 5 months and was able to stay with a host family for the first 6 weeks. We traveled all around South Africa. We were studying post-apartheid and the reparations of post-apartheid. We took some classes at the University of Cape Town, which is an amazing place to be. I mean, it's so beautiful. It's like the San Diego of Africa. And then for the last 5 weeks, I had the opportunity to do my own independent research project where I had to find my own housing and then do my own research project. And I had an opportunity to work with women who were HIV positive. And they were actually making memory boxes for their children and loved ones so that they could leave them to them when they died. They were actually enrolled in a drug study, and they knew that after the drug study ended, they would no longer have access to those medications. So it was a powerful experience to be around amongst women who were the most positive women I have ever met in my life, but they were HIV positive, knowing that they were going to die, and they were working to leave a legacy for their families. And so out of that experience is, roundabout how I decided to become a pharmacist and looking at access to medication. So when I say it changed my life, it changed my entire world view of cultures and how other people look at life and how people are grateful for things that we take for granted here in the US. So I can't say enough about the global experience and this opportunity that you have. So I think everybody on campus should take advantage of a minimum of, taking time out to do the passport events. But if you do have the opportunity and can study abroad, I think that would be amazing. And then I'll also be leading the Global Solutions Sustainability Challenge, which is what Suzanne really asked me to talk about. So if you can't study abroad, I think this is the next best alternative. So it starts February 1st. Suzanne, I'm actually doing the 6-week program.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. That's perfect.
Yeah, I just found that out myself. So I'm doing a 6-week program, and we have been hooked up with students in Kurdistan, Iraq. So I've just met the other facilitator there. And so it'll be a 6-week program. I think it's going to be super fun and engaging. And I'm just excited. So anyone who cannot, if you're not going to be able to study abroad, then please join us. I would love to have anybody join.
Thank you. That's excellent. No, I love to hear your story. I've heard your story a couple of times now, and it gives me like cold chills every time I hear it. So thank you for everything you said.
Thank you.
But I do encourage you. I mean, think about this, like meeting students in Kurdistan. When in your life are you going to have that opportunity? And Colton, if you could speak again to this just a minute ago, since you were in our cohort last time with Jordan, and what your experience was meeting students in Jordan and working with them on this project.
Yeah, it was good working with students from Jordan. I'm gonna say most of the students that we worked with were women. We worked with a few gentlemen, but just learning how different they did things from how we did stuff and how family oriented they are. You know, we over here, as soon as we get of age, we try to move out and leave the nest and leave our families, but they stay pretty close to their families basically their whole lives. I'm finna say they're very artistic.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah, I think that was the thing that like hit all of our students the most, was realizing how family oriented their culture is versus ours. So like everyone was like, wow, because we like to think we're family oriented, but compared to cultures, we really aren't. So on the slide here, I do have a picture of like the SWOT analysis we did at one point when we were working on developing our project. So you can see a couple of our the Jordanian students. It was, a really great experience. And this is like an easy thing. So if you're a little, nervous about actually traveling, this is a great way to meet people from another country. It also is great to put on your resume. You'll be an alumnus of the U.S. State Department forever if you participate in this, and you'll get, information about opportunities coming up. I see Thea smiling there because he is an alumnus of the U.S. State Department. He is one of our international students, which I actually took out our slide about international students because we don't have very many this year because of COVID. Thea, would you like to say something just about your experience here as a student, an international student from Tunisia?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Dia Salawi. I'm 23 years old, and I was a Thomas Jefferson Scholarship Program alumnus in the cohort 6 in the academic year of 2018-2019. Before COVID, we were 4 Tunisians. We had a German, we had an Irish and Egyptian together as international students. I came here to study electromechanical engineering through the U.S. Department of State. It's a fully funded scholarship. I had the chance to spend a year in the United States at DCCC. It was the best experience of my life, like leaving everything behind, good coming to study here, starting meeting a lot of new people, Christina, Suzanne, and a lot of the staff. They were so nice to us. Like being away from the family for a whole year was not easy, but we found a new family here. We made a new family here. We got along together. We did a lot of stuff. We had the international night, which is one of the best nights we had together. We won the best dressed team in that night. We had the chance to do a lot of stuff. We had the international club, which hopefully we will do more this year through the international club. We did a lot of we tried to do a lot of projects, and hopefully this year we'll do more. So I'm really glad to be back to the Davidson-Davie Community College this year, and it's a good experience, like to learn a lot of things about new cultures, and that's what we did. Like we brought our culture, Tunisian culture, to the United States, and we shared as much as possible who we are, what are we doing, what do we eat, and how our lives there, and that's what we gained too from here. We learned a lot about the Americans and their style of life, and it was a good experience to share with everyone. And plus, on more than that, you gotta learn a lot of things, and talking about like being open to people, open-minded, learn a lot of new cultures, and have a different background. The more you know about the cultures, the more you be open to new people, and you will be more eager to know about other cultures, and be interested in introducing yourself, and like being proud of your culture, because there's a lot of things you will know about yourself when you leave the country, or like when you are alone in a new country with people you don't know. That's when you will find out more about yourself, and you'll be surprised, like things that you don't know about yourself, you'll find out when you meet new people that who they don't know you, but like you do your best to make them to make sure that they know you. So it's, if you guys ever have the experience or the chance to study abroad, to travel, do not hesitate, take it, you will never regret it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad to have you back. I
Thank
can't
you.
easy. I'm glad to have you back at David. But yeah, we're so glad to have you back. And thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be the president of the International Club. I know I twisted
Thank you.
But since we didn't really have a club this past semester, we are hoping going this semester, even though it'll have to be for now. So if anyone is interested in joining the International Club, let us know that as well. So before I leave this slide about the virtual exchange, if you're interested in participating, you can fill out this little Google form here, but that's not necessary. If you want to copy the link, you can. But if you just want to email either Dr. Johnson or myself, we can get you hooked up with that. There's no real formal registration process. It's just, a commitment to participate. And I really think, you'll be glad of that experience. You're never, ever going to have a chance like this again. So, I think I might drop in if LaKoya will let me, because I'm really interested in meeting students from Kurdistan as well. Okay, so our next slide brings us to the slide where I usually talk about international students. Luckily, we do have one international student scholar student, and that is Kaylin O'Cashnahan, our Fulbright Foreign Language Teaching Assistant from Ireland. So this is the 9th year in a row that Davidson-Davie has hosted FLTAs on our campus. We're one of the few community colleges that do this. Most FLTAs are at universities in the United States, but thankfully Kaylin was able to make it here in person so that he didn't break our streak of 9 years of having student teachers live on our campus. And Kaylin, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and why you're here and what you do?
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Hello, everybody. So my name's Kaylin, and as Suzanne was saying, I'm from Ireland, and I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to come over here as a Fulbright scholar and to teach in Davidson-Davie Community College about the Irish language and about Irish culture. It's been a very enjoyable experience so far, despite COVID. Suzanne keeps telling me, "Oh, usually we'd be doing this, and usually we'd be doing this." In fairness, I've no complaints so far. I think we've made the best of a very strange situation. So basically, here in the college, I run Irish language classes, both accredited classes, like curriculum classes, and also continuing education classes, which are classes mainly in the evening time, just for people who are interested in learning different bits and pieces about the Irish language and about Irish culture. I also run a weekly Irish conversation hour, which is this semester is on a Wednesday at noon. So you're all more than welcome to drop in if anyone wants to learn anything about Irish culture, or even if anyone's been to Ireland before maybe, or has Irish heritage and would like to share their experience, you'd be more than welcome to drop in and participate. We'd be glad to have you. On top of that, Suzanne's asked me to run various passport events throughout the year. So for example, if in the previous semester I did a talk on Halloween, and the sort of the Irish Celtic origins of that festival. This semester I'll have 2 more events. One is going to be on St. Patrick's Day, where I'll be teaching some Irish songs. So again, if anyone wants to learn, now I'm not the best singer in the world, but you don't have to be either. You know, it's just a bit of crack, just a bit of fun. So you'd be more than welcome to come in if you want to learn some Irish music and sort of experience it a little bit for yourself. And apologies in advance for my bad singing. As well as that, we're going to have a bit later in the year, we'll have a sort of a hurling workshop, like a hurling tutorial. And hurling is an Irish sport, which is played, it's been played for about 2,000 or 3,000 years in Ireland. Kind of similar to like lacrosse and hockey, and it's complicated to explain. But if anyone's interested in maybe in trying that out for themselves, you'd be more than welcome to come and give that a go. And yeah, I'll be participating in the international club as well. I think I'm glad to have Dia over here so that I'm not the only international student anymore. It's good to have a bit of backup. So myself, Dia, and Christina, I think we'll be working to try and not so much revive the international club here, but just to get something going, you know, because in the first semester, as Suzanne said, it was quiet enough. And yeah, I mean, Christina showed you my office already. If anyone has any questions for me or would like to get in touch about classes or anything, you'd be more than welcome to drop in. Or I'm sure Suzanne could probably pass you on my email as well if needs be. So good to meet you all anyway, and hopefully I'll see a few of you throughout the coming semester.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, can you explain the word crack to people?
So yes, sorry, I mentioned that earlier. I do that a lot actually.
You did say it would be a bit of crack.
So sorry, when I say that, I'm not influencing anything negative. We use crack in Ireland to refer to fun. So when I say, oh, it's good crack, I mean, it's good fun. So apologies for any misunderstandings there.
And by the way, it's spelled C-R-A-I-C, but it's pronounced.
I'll put it in the chat just to remove any.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so yeah, so again, this is like a super easy way you can get involved with international is by coming by and talking to Kaylin and getting involved in some of the things he and Thea are doing together. So, I mean, that's the easiest way of all, right? We've brought the world to you, and all you have to do is talk to these 2 wonderful young people. Okay. Next slide, does not want to advance. Oh, there we go. Okay, study abroad. So you may not have ever considered study abroad for yourself. That it's just something that never crossed your mind. Maybe you think you're not the kind of person who studies abroad, that you can't afford it. I want to try to convince you that you are the kind of person who studies abroad, that you can make it happen financially. And like Dr. Johnson said, it will change your life. Like Thea said, it'll change your life. Christina and I and Kaylin will all tell you it changes your life. It changes your perspective forever. Like Thea was saying, you learn a whole lot about yourself, and it really just gives you, you know, a different perspective on life and the world for the rest of your life. So this coming summer, we are offering 3 short programs. They are all, you know, still tentative because of COVID, but we have not canceled them yet. And we are hopeful that by the summertime, we will be able to run these programs. I do encourage you, if you're interested, to go ahead and apply and to pay your $200 deposit. You will not lose any money this year because of COVID. Before we go forward with the trip, we'll make sure everything's okay. So if we cancel the trip, you would get all your money back at this point. But if you are interested, go ahead and fill out the study abroad application. I'll show you that on the website in just a minute. But we have a 2-week program scheduled in Cape Town, South Africa. And like LaKoya was saying, it is the most beautiful, amazing country you've ever seen. We had to cancel our student program last year because of COVID, but I was fortunate enough to go on a site visit in 2019. So I got to see everything students are going to do. I went to Boulders Beach and took this picture of the penguins. I got to see Table Mountain. We didn't get to go to Robben Island to see Nelson Mandela's prison cell when I was there because the water was choppy that day, but that's something you'll get to do. There's a 2-day safari. It's a service learning program, so you will be like volunteering in the townships in Cape Town for about 2/3 of your time and doing cultural excursions the other third. Super, super fantastic. The second program is in Russia, in St. Petersburg. Tim Gwillem, one of our associate deans, went on a Fulbright award to Russia and made this connection with the university there. And so this will be a 2-week cultural program in St. Petersburg. You'll be staying at this university. You'll be meeting their students, doing lots of cultural excursions to the Winter Palace and the Summer Palace. If you don't know, St. Petersburg is like the most European city in Europe. It's just full of art and culture. It's very Western in its nature, very different from Moscow. But I've been to Moscow, but I haven't been to St. Petersburg, so I would love to go there. The program in France is not a faculty-led program. These are 4 different short-term programs put out by the French Embassy. So if you decide to go on one of these, you won't be going with a faculty member from DCCC. You'll be going on your own with community college students from around the US. And there are 4 different choices of programs in cities in France. They do underwrite the cost of these programs for community college students. So you will only pay $1,000 plus your airfare for 2 weeks in France, which is pretty amazing. So coming up on fall break, we are very hopeful about being able to run our program starting in the fall of 2021. The first one, excuse me, is to Ireland, one of our favorite places. So we have worked with the Institute of Study Abroad Ireland for 7 or 8 years, and we have run programs there, probably 6 years with students. Everyone loves Ireland. I can 100% guarantee that if you go to Ireland, you will not regret it. We have never had anyone who did not absolutely love Ireland. Our program here is based in Bundoran, which is a little seaside town in County Donegal. You will get the chance to surf and have a surfing lesson. These here are DCCC students, Shadea and some others there learning how to surf. It will be a little chilly. We used to always run this program on spring break in March, so the weather would probably be a little better in October, don't you think, Kaylin, than in March?
Slightly. The weather in Ireland doesn't tend to change too much throughout the year. I mean, it's usually grey and rainy anyway. But
that's what I tell people. You don't go to Ireland for the weather.
Yeah.
So I was on. I went with Study Abroad Ireland in October with another school, another program, and we had wonderful weather except for one day of our visit. So I can thoroughly say that regardless of the weather, you're going to love it.
Yes. Thank you, Elaine. Definitely. Regardless of the weather, you will love Ireland. It's awesome. It's beautiful too. I just thought I'd throw in on this slide that we are also having a community travel club program to Scotland at the same time over fall break. It is not necessarily geared towards students. It's geared toward community members. So it's a slightly upscale, more expensive. You're welcome to go to Scotland, but it is a little pricey compared to some of our other programs, and it does not carry academic credit. So for each of our other study abroad programs, you will get 3 hours of college credit through taking Humanities 180, which is International Cultural Explorations. So, and then looking ahead to 2022, we definitely are planning trips to England and Japan over spring break next year. In the summer, we are creating a trip for all North Carolina community college students to Bordeaux, France, which is like the food and wine capital of the world. And this is something that Davidson-Davie is working on with the University of Bordeaux, but we will open it to all North Carolina community college students, but we are the lead college on that. We do hope to run South Africa again in 2022 and Argentina. There are other possibilities. I'm currently working on a grant, maybe to do another program related to sustainable agriculture in either Kenya, Tanzania, or in Zimbabwe. And there may be other opportunities in 2022. So I'm going to show you more information about these trips on our website in just a second. But I wanted to point out quickly that there are ways to fund these programs. So DCCC offers scholarships to students, and they are always partial scholarships. It's never going to pay the full cost of your trip, but you can apply through the DCCC Foundation, and we award several $1,000s worth of scholarships every year. So anyone for any trip can apply for that. There's also a federal scholarship called the Gilman, and it has been created to diversify the kinds of students who study abroad. So as a community college student, you definitely have a good chance for the Gilman. To apply for it, the main thing is that the program you go on has to be at least 2 weeks long. So the ones in the summer, South Africa, France, Russia, those would all qualify. The ones we do over spring break and fall break don't qualify because they're less than 2 weeks long. You do have to be a Pell recipient, meaning that you receive financial aid, that you receive a Pell grant, and that is pretty much, those are pretty much the qualifications to apply for the Gilman. We have had several students receive them, so you definitely have a chance at getting one. Another possibility I throw out to students is getting a job. I know some of you already have jobs. I know like Colton works full-time and goes to school full-time and has kids full-time, which is amazing to me. But if you don't already have a job, you could think about getting one, or maybe increasing the number of hours per week that you work. So just as an example, if you get a minimum wage job and you work 20 hours a week for 6 months, that gives you enough money to pay for any of our study abroad programs. You can also do personal fundraising. You can write letters to people, create a GoFundMe page. You can babysit. You can drive Uber, deliver Uber Eats. There are all kinds of ways to, raise extra money. And, usually you're not going to get all your money from one source. So just think about, how can I get a little bit here? How can I get a little bit there? Is there something I can not buy? Can I save money? Is there something I can sell? But if you really are dedicated to the idea of studying abroad, you can make the money happen. I used to think this was like the biggest obstacle to students studying abroad, but I now believe it's only the second biggest obstacle. I think the first thing is the mindset that you need to understand the value of study abroad and how you're investing in yourself and in your future, and how it's not something that's a luxury or that, only rich kids do at Harvard. It's something that's worth investing in your future, and is going to be really valuable to you. It's an investment in your education. So that may be my last slide. So I'll pause here and see if there are any questions, and then I want to show you the website. So are there any questions? I'll check the chat box real quick. Okay, so let's see. Let me go up to the beginning. I do see some questions there. Okay, so Allie is asking, she'll be transferring in the fall to a four-year university. So I could be looking at summer 2021 trips as perspective. You say it's sad. I'm glad to hear that, but the study abroad options at Davidson-Davie are better than at your transfer school. So a couple of things. Yeah, you could definitely apply for summer 2021. Keep in mind that pretty much anyone can go on most of our study abroad programs. So you can be a community member and go on our programs. If you want to travel with your spouse or your friend or your grandmother, they are able to travel along with you. They'll, of course, have to pay the cost of the program, and they'll have to enroll in the class. We do offer a version of the class through continuing education that's not for credit. So, or even like, if Beverly and Elaine have both traveled on our programs, and even though they work at the college, they're still in the class, but they don't take the credit version. They take the continuing education version. So you could still go, even if you transfer to a four-year university. If your fall break or your spring break lines up with ours, you're welcome to still continue to travel on our programs. You won't be eligible for the scholarships through DCCC if you're not a student here at the time, but you probably could still apply for the Gilman for our programs, even if you're at a four-year university. Other questions about that? Oh, and thanks, Elaine. The continuing ed version is cheaper. Thanks, LaKoya. Yeah, remember to let us know if you're interested in the virtual exchange. If you know you are right now and you want to type that in the chat box, feel free to, and then you won't have to email us. But yeah, so you can let us know in the chat box. So let me show you quickly how you can find everything on the International Education website. Okay, so if you go to the college website and you go to academics, you drop down and go to International Education. Scroll down. Here you see a great little video that our digital media students created about study abroad. And here you have all the boxes of all the things we do. So the first one is passport events, which we've talked about. But if you forget where the schedule is, you can come here to the website and find out. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you see this Google Calendar, and Christina has put all these events on this Google Calendar, so you can look ahead at the week like this, and you can click on the links and they'll take you to the event. Or if you want to see a list of all the events, you can click here and it'll take you to our Google Doc. So we have all kinds of things coming up. You know, there's some really special ones with South Africa. We're doing through a grant this year. For those, you need to register. It's free, but we want to know how many people are coming. So you'll see a little link here to register for that. Next week, we're having a live chat with Brazil with Jusileia Oliveira, who was our very first Fulbright FLTA back in the day. And she taught Portuguese at the college, and she and a friend are going to give a chat about Brazil. We have more information sessions coming up, a world chat with Spain, study abroad information sessions about, specific trips. Here's one of the South Africa events, a discussion of the book Born a Crime, written by Trevor Noah. If you want to read that, we have copies in our library that you can check out. A session based on this Hidden Brain podcast about the difference between tight and loose cultures. It's a really interesting podcast. We have an interfaith dialogue panel on March the 3rd, which is going to be led by my son, who is teaching world religion this semester, the one that I carried as a baby to DCCC when I started 27 years ago. And Kaylin's going to hopefully participate in that. And actually, I was going to ask Thea too, but I haven't asked him yet. But anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. So this would just be, a discussion with people from, different faiths. We were originally thinking about getting, a priest and an imam and a rabbi, but we thought it might be more interesting to have students talking about their own personal experience. Kaylin's going to lead that St. Patrick's Day sing-along he was talking about on St. Patrick's Day. That'll be super fun. Gerald Bosch does World Wednesday every month, where he talks about international current events. This one right here is a super amazing thing, one of the ones with South Africa on March 25th, where we are going to have a former political prisoner who was at Robben Island with Nelson Mandela, and Nelson Mandela's actual prison guard are going to speak to us live from South Africa. That is amazing. That is historical. You don't want to miss that one. And again, we do ask you to register. More world chats with Argentina, a virtual study abroad fair. And then at the end, Kaylin, did you, I should ask you if you object to the title of your passport event that I made up while you were traveling.
No, more than happy with that.
You like it? Okay,
kind of sums it up.
And then our global capstone presentations at the end of the semester. So let's stop that share for a minute. Do you guys have any questions? Let me check the chat box about the passport events. So yeah, the Trevor Noah book. Do you need the book on hand? You don't need it during the discussion per se. If you've read the book, that's fine. I listened to it on audiobook a couple years ago. I'll probably flip back through it before the session, but you don't have to actually have the copy of the book with you as long as you've read it. So good question. Oh, and Allie, that's great that you're interested in the virtual exchange. Wonderful, wonderful. And thank you, Colton, for participating. So let's go back to the internet for a minute. So another one of those buttons on the page is the Global Scholars button, and this is going to provide you all kinds of information about the program. Here you have the little running scroll of different Global Scholar pictures over the years. That's Leo. He was one of our German students. It's going to tell you why you should be a Global Scholar here. Here is the application. So if you want to apply, you click this little button. It asks you a few questions. It comes to me and Christina. After we get it, we contact you and say, let's chat, and we'll start tracking all your progress. We'll track which classes you've taken already and if you've been to Passport events and what your plan is for your global experience. Here again is the list of the program requirements, the globalized courses, the Passport events, and the global experience. And here is a very useful button, and this is a current list of all globalized courses. So this lists every course that has been globalized by an instructor at the college. So here you can see a long list of classes. It's important to note that here, that for these classes, it depends on the instructor as to whether or not it counts as globalized. So everyone takes English 111, but it only counts as a globalized course if you take it with Michelle Williamson or Christina Kerwin. So when you're registering for courses, you want to pay attention to that. And then down here at the bottom, we have our list of what we call inherently global courses, which means they count automatically. It doesn't matter who teaches them. So that would be any foreign language, including Irish, world literature, world geography, world religion, cultural studies, world civilization. A lot of you take that. International business. All of our Math 143 courses have been globalized. We don't have Irish on this list, do we? We need to add Irish to this list. Okay. Perimeter defense, if you're in network security. So that's also a very helpful little button there. See if I can move this ribbon around so I can see my page. There we go, that's better. Okay, so going back to the International Ed page, I'll show you the Study Abroad page. So you have a lot of helpful links here, some travel resources, information about scholarships. If you want to apply for a DCCC scholarship, that link is here. I will say we had a deadline of December and no one has applied. Probably this year you have a better chance of getting a scholarship if we run the programs in the summer because our fiscal year ends in June, meaning each year the money runs out and it doesn't renew. So if we run the programs in France, Russia, and South Africa, you have a better chance of getting a scholarship this year because we have to spend that money this year and fewer students are applying and have applied. So yeah, you have a much better chance if you apply for a scholarship this year. This is how to sign up, things you should know before you go, and frequently asked questions about study abroad. But here you have each of the destinations. So if you click on any of these, it will take you to a page that tells you everything. Well, it won't tell you everything. It'll give you a lot of information about each program. So, and here I need to fix this. This is actually going to run in June, not in July. I believe the dates are June 9th through the 21st, but I need to double check that. So it tells you what you'll learn, what the course associated with it is, what the price is, what it includes. So you see here the program fee, and for most of our study abroad programs, that includes just about everything. There are slight differences from program to program. So for example, in South Africa, it includes all of your meals every day. And on other programs, it might just include breakfast and dinner. In Ireland, for example, it just includes breakfast and dinner. But mostly the program fee includes everything. Your airfare, your accommodations, your activities, a lot of your meals. When the application application deadline is, and the scholarship information. Down here, if you click on the Apply Now button, it'll take you to the Study Abroad application. So even if you're mildly interested at this point in one of our summer trips, I would encourage you to go ahead and apply. It's no risk. You have nothing to lose. It just sort of indicates your interest. We do have the link for Ireland for fall break up already, and even for our Japan and England trips for spring break 2022. So I encourage you to look at those, to ask questions. You can send emails to the faculty leaders if you have questions, but really think about it. I promise that you won't regret it, even if you go and COVID hits. That happened to our Ireland and Costa Rica trips last March. But the people who went still said they were glad they went, and they were glad. They were glad to get home. And now they have a great story to tell their grandchildren about having to come home from Ireland. They didn't have to come home early, so that was good. Okay, so another question. Oh, great. Melody is also interested in the virtual exchange. Wonderful. So the meal situation is different in every country. So for Ireland, what happens is in the morning, it's they have a big spread of food. It's not like a traditional American buffet. You're not going to have bacon and eggs, but they're going to have croissants and cheese and lunch meat and fruit and yogurt and cereal and a big croissants and a big delicious spread, sort of a buffet like just for your group. And then for dinner, they go to a restaurant across the street and they do give you 3 choices. So you get to pick out of the 3 for dinner there. Other situations like South Africa, they will probably just serve you meals every day. There's a staff in the team house that'll prepare meals, and they do prepare them based to American tastes. And you know, you're not going to have an option there, but I mean, you'll have more than one thing to eat, but you'll eat whatever it is they make. So, but I promise it'll be good. Okay, let's see. If you want to see everywhere we've been in the past, you can go here. That also reminds me, you should go look at our Facebook page and look at all the photos there, because that will really inspire you to see how much fun people have had in the past and how much students have enjoyed it. I'm going to stop sharing because we're getting close to time. Oh, I see Paul Campbell is on here. He's going to be one of our faculty leaders for the South Africa program, assuming it runs. Paul, did you want to say anything quickly?
It's just I'm excited, and let's do it.
I'm with you. I really hope it runs. I really do. It's a great program. The people we work with, EDU Africa, they're wonderful, and I hope we'll be able to take some students this summer. Okay, any last questions?
Quick question. What are the dates if the program runs for the Russia trip?
We have not set dates yet. The good thing about Russia is that it's, you know, we're working one-on-one with the university and not through a provider. So we could sort of wait until the last minute to decide on things. The bad news is that if you go to Russia, you do have to get a visa, which will take a couple of weeks on top of getting your passport. So that means, you know, we'll have to plan in advance for that. There are no set dates for Russia right now.
Okay. So likely to be the second half of June as opposed to the first half of June.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And I mean, it could even go into July if we find that, you know, COVID needs another month, we could do it in July. In fact, we could possibly go ahead and set up tentative dates in July, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Christina, did you get everybody in the chat box who said they were interested?
Ooh, not they're interested. Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, let's write that down real quick. So who's interested in the virtual exchange and different questions? So another question, Global Scholars Room is in the G building. What hours in the day will someone be there to talk one-on-one if we have questions after the Zoom meeting? Christina is there today. How long will you be there today, Christina?
4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay, so our COVID schedule is usually that Christina comes in on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we alternate Fridays. So one of us should be there should be there most of the time between 8 and 5, one day of the week. So if you come by, it's G13942. So one of us should be there pretty much all day, every day. But you might have better chances if you don't come in right at 8 o'clock or at 4:55. Aim for 9 and 4. Or if you let us know that you're coming at a certain time, we can definitely arrange to be there. Okay, any other last questions? It's G North. G North. Thank you for your interest.
Suzanne, if you have a minute after this meeting, can we chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Well, again, thank you for being here so bright and early. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for all my helpful participants, and I'll see you guys.
Are we having today the French conversation hour?
Oh, but thank you for reminding me of that. I did mean to mention that the Irish hours and the French conversation hours are going to be every week at noon, and they do count as passport events. So if you're a scholar, go to 8 of those, that counts. So Kaylin, Wednesdays, Irish hour at noon. And Christina is going to lead our French hours on Thursdays. She was a French major at UNCG. She studied abroad in France. She taught English on a French-speaking island. So that's exciting. Yeah, you know, I should sit in on that to like refresh my French. But yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's nice to see you all. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to having you engage in our international activities. See you.